Are you sharing the slides? There we go. Okay.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you everybody online for joining us. We got a few folks in the room here. So my name is Brian Weibrecht. I'll be facilitating today. Some of the other folks are out, Scott's out. So today we're going to be talking SAME and STEM initiatives. So Britta's going to be sharing a presentation on that, and just so that you can all see how SAME, our post, works to support students in the STEM initiatives, and that's one of our main focuses. So right now I'll go through the intro slides. Just remember this is being recorded, so you can watch this later on, and here's our website so you can see past presentations. Okay, then you can just see on the slide or on your screen, these are the future events coming up. So today again, STEM initiatives, and then October, November, December. Stay tuned for those presentations. Slide. And I want to say thank you very much to our sustaining members. You guys really helped to make this possible and make us a good chapter on post. And then I'm also serving as the Young Professionals chairperson. So I don't like saying young professionals. I'd rather say new professionals. And so checking this from time to time, I update this. So right now, I just want to point out to government civilians, there is an enterprise leadership development program. I shared it last week or last month. That's due tomorrow. So if you know anybody who's interested in this, check it out. Ask me for, if you have any questions. My email address is here. And it's never too early to start thinking about golf. So this is one of our main fundraisers for supporting the STEM initiative. You can see how our money supports students and other things which Britta will be talking about. But just mark your calendars. Tentatively, May, June, we'll be having a golf outing here in Wiesbaden. Okay, without further ado, Britta, please take the stage.
Okay, let me share my window here. Give me a second, everybody. Be patient with me, even though, okay. And you can see me, but you can't see my window. Why is that not working? Just give me a quick second. There we go. I believe everybody can now see this. All right. Thank you, Brian, for the quick introduction. Surprise, surprise, there's no student here. I want to take a moment to explain how that occurred and what we're actually going to talk about today as it relates to the SAME commitment to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I'm Britta Ayers. As Brian said, I'm new to the post. I've actually only been in country for 3 weeks. Very excited to be here. I have a 2 to 3 year commitment with my company, so I hope to be actively engaged with the post and the various outreach efforts or initiatives that the post participates in. So when Lindsay Edwards, who was in this role prior to me, asked me if I wanted to volunteer for the position for the lead or chair for scholarships, I said, sure. And I vaguely remember her telling me that we needed to try to get a student to do a presentation for this month's meeting. Unfortunately, once I realized that I really needed to do that in the middle of my move and trying to find a place to live and a bank account, I was able to finally reach Mr. Barnes, who is an instructor over at Wiesbaden High School, and chat a little bit with him. Unfortunately, Wiesbaden High School was not able to arrange for permission for him to take time off and to bring a small group of students to give a presentation on their robotics program, as well as one of their other programs, which I'll share a little bit about with you in this presentation. But during our conversation, we did agree that this is something we want to pursue. So we're going to see if we can get them for a future presentation, giving them a little bit more lead time to prepare, but also maybe formally writing a letter to the high school requesting either that the students come here, or perhaps we could arrange a field trip for one of our future meetings and get to see what they do up close and personal in their lab. So you are stuck with me with this presentation and all the information that I found from my research on STEM. And the reason I did the research is because, to be honest with you, I've been out of school for a while, you can probably tell, and I do not have children. So I know what the acronym stands for, but I really can't say that I've had any in-depth experience or knowledge of the STEM integration in the education system, especially in the United States. So I did a lot of research and I put this together to share with the membership. I'm hoping that I'm not telling you something you don't already know, but if you do, just bear with me, because I have included a couple of small video clips in this presentation that I think are very interesting and engaging, as well as some slides at the end of the presentation, which I'm hoping would generate some conversation amongst the participants, because I think there's an opportunity for us to do a little bit brainstorming and talk about how the post is going to move forward with its support locally of STEM, the STEM program. So with that, let me get started. The very first thing I Googled when I was putting together this presentation was, what is STEM and when did it start? There were a lot of articles, a lot of blogs, a lot of posts, a lot of websites, a lot of nonprofit organizations. As I skimmed them, I can't tell you that there was any one consistent answer providing sort of the big picture overview of what is STEM and how did it start. But the 2 points that they all made consistently across the different multimedia pages and so forth that I was looking at are these 2 points right here. STEM is an educational approach that's really centered around the idea of teachers and structures using an applied and interdisciplinary approach to teaching those specific disciplines, those specific topics. And it really emphasizes critical thinking, data analysis, and problem solving. I actually found a really short YouTube video that I would like to share with you at this point. I thought it was very entertaining and well done, and I think it explains it better than I could. So give me just a second while I flip to this. Let's see that this works. And hold on. Let's do this another way. I have a backup plan so you can see why I should maybe not be responsible for technology here. So let's get this started and go big picture and hope that you can see this. And it should go. All right. I'd like to thank the National Academy of Sciences for that video. I thought it was very well done. I hope you appreciated it. I think it was a lot of fun. So let me get the PowerPoint back up. And just wanted to note that if you are interested in finding out more about their stand on STEM education and their continuing research and guidance that they put forth, or specifically that study on STEM integration, it is available for download on their website. It's about 180 pages is what that one was. I skimmed it. I think I'm actually going to go back and read it. It's very informative, and I think it will help me get a better understanding for STEM education, as well as give me ideas of how to help us better integrate outreach for our program here at the Post. With that, let me go on to our next slide. And again, I apologize for the technology. I'm obviously new to this, right? I'm not a young professional. All right, so why is STEM important? Well, in 2021, the Department of Commerce found that STEM occupations are growing at 24%, while other occupations are only growing at 4%. And STEM degree holders have a higher median salary than those with a non-STEM degree. There are actually several statistics that show over the last few years that an entry-level STEM educated professional can get anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 more in salary for their first job than somebody without a STEM degree. The Challenger Center for Space Science Education, a not-for-profit education organization that was founded in honor of the Challenger crew, recently stated that STEM occupations are projected to grow over 2 times faster than the total for all occupations over the next 10 years. And an often cited New York Times article noted that 65% of today's elementary school students will have jobs that don't already exist. They do not exist. Many of them are going to be in jobs that we're only dreaming of right now or will be developing over the next few years. And many of those jobs are going to be in the STEM field. That same New York Times article also states that STEM proficiency is vital to generating economic growth, advancing scientific innovation, and of course, creating jobs. The Department of Homeland Security actually agrees and states on their website very clearly that graduates of STEM programs play a very vital role in making the United States more competitive in the global economy and therefore more secure. While various STEM predecessors have been around for a while, again, going back and doing the research, there's a lot out there. I couldn't find any one timeline that seemed to really be a point of agreement for all the various organizations out there. It really wasn't until the early 2000s that STEM really became a critical component of education programs across the United States. And that was in response to several studies that came out about that time that said that US students were not performing nearly as well or achieving as much in the STEM disciplines as students from other countries. We were really far behind, and we needed to catch up, and we needed to figure out a way to do that that was consistent across the various programs, the educational programs in the United States. So since then, there have been a lot more emphasis on these fields in education, as well as the continuous push from national organizations, the nonprofits, the Department of Education to improve the quality of the curricula that's taught as part of the STEM integration initiatives, and the instruction, of course, because you can have the curricula, you can have the materials, the books, the hands-on experiences, but you also have to have the instructors, the teachers, the mentors, the subject matter experts out in the field who are actually doing work in those disciplines, be a part of the program, and they need to be qualified to actually teach the subjects. So while there are numerous goals for integrated STEM education, one of the key goals is to develop the STEM capable workforce. STEM jobs are in high demand, but we're still finding, even after almost 20 years, that the pool of qualified candidates is very limited, at least in the United States. And if that projection holds true, the demand will continue to grow, and we're not going to be able to meet that demand, and we're going to have to get our labor from elsewhere, is basically the bottom line. So with that, I'm going to share one more video with you real quick. Again, give me just a second to switch screens. And let me skip the ad, of course, because who can see an ad? Okay, and this is why I'm not in charge of technology at the office. All right, that was just one of the many videos that I found about how effective this program is in school districts across the United States. So now looking at going back to SAME, big picture SAME, and then we'll take a look at what we're doing here locally. SAME has believed in STEM education and integration, and has been supportive of the various initiatives in all its different names for over 30 years, and has been conducting the construction and engineering camps for almost 20 years. As you saw in the video, and looking at SAME's strategic plan, they recognize the importance of not only building a technically qualified labor force for the 21st century job market, we're also teaching kids a variety of soft skills that many of them weren't getting either at home or at school prior to STEM education. And some of those include critical thinking, problem solving, communication, which is a big one, and teamwork, adaptability, and creativity. So the hope is that as these programs continue to get stronger and more integrated into the overall education system, that kids will continue to develop a passion for the various disciplines and will seek a career or a job. Maybe they're not looking for a career, just a job, but they'll do that in the field. And then for those kids who are not going to be going into the STEM field, they at least develop a comfortable level of curiosity in the world to where they're comfortable with asking questions and learning how to solve problems on their own, not looking for others to do that for them. And they're comfortable with investigating. Because one of the things that is in the literature and that I saw in a number of the videos that I perused is that a lot of kids, especially in middle school and high school, they're afraid to ask questions. They're afraid to discover answers on their own. Maybe afraid is not necessarily the right word, but they don't have the self-confidence in their abilities. So by being part of these programs, they're learning that it's okay to ask questions, it's okay to investigate, and it's okay to fail, because failure really makes you stronger and smarter and just helps you the next time around when you're looking for a solution. So I thought that was really fascinating to see and very informative for myself. All right, let me go to that next slide. So looking at SAME and where SAME is going, the organization, wait a minute, sorry, see again, I should not be in charge of the technical presentation. The SAME's 2025 strategic plan, which if you haven't seen it, is available on the website. It's very short, quick read. There's, I think, 6 main goals and a number of objectives for each, as well as some background information on how the organization is pursuing achievement of those goals. But goal number 4 is the critical one here for what we're talking about, and that's the continued enrichment of the STEM pipeline for the nation. So there's that continued commitment for SAME. SAME has the geographical footprint and the mission to have an even greater impact on STEM moving forward. SAME has been a very large member and supporter of STEM education, and with various partnerships across the nation, continues to leverage the advancement of various STEM initiatives and continues to participate in various opportunities to encourage youth to pursue STEM careers, and of course is continuing to grow and sponsor the STEM-related camps. Taking a step down, specifically looking at how we can continue to support this initiative and help the organization achieve its goals. There are a couple of communities of interest. I think there's 16 of them, in case you didn't know that, for SAME. There are various programs, if you will, or subcommittees that bring together a group of people over a particular topic. They have shared interests, and there's opportunities to advance our field. Specifically, there's 2 that are related to STEM directly and really going to be responsible for help achieving the goal in the strategic plan. The first is the camps. I'm not going to go too much into that one. I will mention it a little later in the presentation and how we might get involved. But the one I really wanted to focus on is the K through 12 STEM outreach community. And they're the ones that are really pushing the initiatives for the different posts to support STEM at the local level. Their mission is to promote and support pathways to STEM degrees and STEM careers, and are really doing all that they can to ensure that this national strategic effort produces more STEM professionals for the nation. And again, that helps with our overall security as well as our place in the global economy and our future success. So they do this a couple of different ways. Their activities are organized around 4 pillars, if you will, categorizing how we support K through 12 STEM education and the various programs that already exist. So they provide guidance, they provide checklists and other information to help the local posts really support the local high schools, middle schools, and other education efforts. They identify guest speakers and webinars that support the overall initiative. Of course, they're all relevant topics to STEM. And they serve as a clearinghouse for STEM information. So as they get information from higher up through their partnerships and sponsorships, they push that information down to the posts, and we can then use that as a local post to support our local programs. And then they also provide a calendar of events that are related to STEM and points of contact if we want to reach out in the future and invite some of these subject matter experts, or even better, students to come give us a presentation and share the success stories. So moving down to the local level, what's going on with our local program? As I mentioned at the very beginning, I had the opportunity to talk with Mr. Barnes, who is over at Wiesbaden High School. And he shared with me that this year the school has 2 major programs. The first is cybersecurity. We didn't get into too many details about that one because they are already hosted or sponsored by the 2nd Theater Signal Brigade and seem to be going strong. What we really focused on was the robotics program. And I know in January of 2020, this post and some of the members had the opportunity to go to the school, to the lab, and to find out more about that robotics program. Well, I think we have an opportunity to do that again. As I said, if we can get them in here to give a formal presentation, great. If not, it's an opportunity for a field trip to see firsthand what it is that they're doing. So we're going to continue to work that, and I'll coordinate, of course, with the committee on when to get that scheduled. But what's really interesting about the program this year is that they are in their rookie year of the first tech challenge. They are running 2 robotics teams as part of this challenge. This is a program that's where the teams sign up from schools across the country, actually across the world. Anybody can sign up. They have to be from the ages of, let me just double check my numbers. There were so many numbers in all of this. It is from the grades 7 through 12. And it's guided by adult coaches and mentors that help the students develop STEM skills and practice emerging technologies. So they're challenged to design, build, program, and operate robots, and then they compete in a number of different activities. They raise funds. They have to design and market their team brand. That's all part of the process. And they conduct community outreach. And all of these different activities allows them to win money. So it's competitive across all the different topics that they're responding to as part of this overall challenge. At the end, they do local challenges, regional challenges, and if whoever wins those gets to compete at the national level in the United States, which will take place, I believe, next spring. And then at the end, those that are going off to college, there are over $80 million worth of scholarships that these participants have access to. So that's a pretty big number. And it's definitely something that we hope our local school really gets to take advantage of moving forward. And just a really quick video. I promise this is the last one, but I thought it was important to share a little bit more about the tech challenge with you so that you can see what it is our students are participating in and why All right. So that's a little bit of background about the First Tech Challenge. The 2022-23 challenge is ongoing, and I'm hoping that we get the opportunity to hear firsthand how that is going with the local school program at Wiesbaden High. So with that, stepping down to the next level, the individual and the post itself. What can you do to support STEM as an individual? Well, there are a couple of different things that you can do just right off the bat. You can volunteer as a mentor at the school or one of the schools. It doesn't have to be the local high school. It can be elementary school or middle school. You can volunteer for a camp. Now, I did find out earlier that it doesn't appear that we have any camps here locally in country, so that may be an opportunity for us in the future. But if you are stateside, going stateside in the near future, those camps are everywhere now across the United States. You can join the community of interest through SAME, the STEM outreach community, or even the camps community, or both if you've got the time. You can participate in job fairs. I know many of us get invitations to participate in job fairs. This is one way to do that outreach, especially if you're reaching out to high school students, or even earlier would be great. Promote STEM to your family, friends, and neighbors. If you have kids, make sure you're helping them develop a passion for STEM, or at least being engaged in the world around them, asking questions, being curious, and really supporting that curiosity. Talk to your friends and kids, neighbors' kids. Get them started early. And most importantly, for many programs, it's to donate needed supplies. Sometimes that's as simple as paper and pens. Other times it's a little bit more in depth with what is needed, but it's always easy to reach out to the local school and find out what it is that you can do to support their STEM program. So with that, I wanted to take a minute and just ask the folks on the call, as well as those in the room, are you currently promoting or supporting STEM education? And if so, how are you doing it? Are there any things that are not on that list that you would like to add? And don't everybody talk at once. Come on. And maybe this is something that we get back to. Maybe we have this conversation on site when we get together with the students and we ask them, what can we do as professionals in the STEM field to better support you and future generations? All right. Well, then I'm going to move on.
Well, my first thought.
Oh,
actually,
you have a thought. Good.
I have a thought.
Nicole has one.
No, because working for an American company, or several American companies now, but and being involved with SAME, I thought STEM is very, and this presentation actually was very, very interesting and full of information. But being a husband to a German teacher and coming from Germany, German education system, I'm not sure if I've seen something like that in the German educational system. So that's very interesting. So I think this is actually
That is
a
good
lot
to
more
know.
advanced and much more hands-on and real world, real job related than what I've seen in German schools. And I was actually more thinking about how can we implement something like that into German education system.
Can people on the line here?
Can everybody online hear Brian?
I was in the LDP, the SAME LDP program. So we did a project on how can we get this SAME national to get more engaged and help at the local level with these STEM initiatives. So I don't know what's going to become of that, but I was in every single post website, seeing what they had for STEM and how they were supporting STEM. And in doing that, I called one of the teachers at the schools and at the Wiesbaden Middle School, and I asked them if they were coordinating with other German schools, like other local schools. And he said, really, no. And so I think that's an opportunity that we could invite some of the German schools even to participate in this the first tech challenge.
Okay.
Or something. So.
Or at least establish a connection.
Yeah, or establish a connection. So
coordination.
That's a big thing that I think will grow, this community, especially being overseas. It's a little bit different.
Absolutely. So what I'll do, I'll commit to doing this after September 30th, end of the fiscal year. I'm continuing my conversation with Mr. Barnes at Wiesbaden High School, and I'm hoping to entice him either with a lunch or a dinner or a drink or something to actually sit down with me for an in-depth conversation, which we just haven't been able to have yet. And talk to him a little bit about the ideas that we have and the question of, are there any partnerships? Is there any outreach to the local schools? And maybe that's something that we can help them to develop if they're interested. So, yes, sir.
And maybe I can put Nick Irwin on the spot. I know you have, I think, one high school student right now. What's your experience, if you care to speak on that?
I can speak a little bit, but not a lot. I'm an engineer. Tiffany's an engineer, but neither one of our kids in the high school level really went that way. I do know that the school has a robotics lab, and that I was here for the time we did the robotics thing, and that was really cool. There's at least one or two other things that I know we've done with designing like mousetrap cars with the school. So there is some opportunity to work with them, but in the time that I've been here, we haven't really done anything like that.
Okay. So I'll start investigating and seeing what we can get on the books, because I think it would be a lot of fun and definitely educational, at least for me. So thank you very much for that, everybody. Those are some great suggestions. So that already goes into what can we do as a post. So obviously promoting, sponsoring, hosting engineering and construction camp is also on the table. In my research, I found that there are actually no local posts here in Germany associated with the military. So that is actually an opportunity for us. The national SAME actually provides a project management plan and checklist, basically a how to put a camp together. So maybe that's something, maybe we can't do that for next summer, but maybe that's something we can form a subcommittee on and do the following year and really promote. Maybe that's a way to also engage the local German schools as well. So something to think about. It might be a big undertaking. It would definitely need some commitment from some people who have the time, but it's something to think about. And then the big one, sponsor and mentor a local STEM program activity. And I put that on there because in talking to Mr. Barnes, the cyber program is set with their sponsorship. But the robotics teams, the two teams that are competing in the first challenge, are not. And they do need some supplies. They do need some support long term. And I'd like to put it out there that maybe that's something that we could follow up on, not just with the scholarships, but potentially maybe our time at least, or some materials or something. And again, I would get some more details from Mr. Barnes once we got an opportunity to sit down and chat. So with that, I think we kind of covered the big items that I wanted to get to on the programs themselves. What I last wanted to speak with you guys on is the scholarship itself. The 2023 scholarship instructions and application will need to get posted within the next couple of months. Award, I guess, late winter, early spring. The current criteria are that applicants have to have a GPA between 2.5 and 4.0. They provide us their background information to kind of tell us a little bit more about their story in terms of extracurricular activities, volunteering, any honors or awards that they've received, and if they've had any, their work experience itself. And then we have an essay requirement of 250 to 500 words. And this is our question. What attracts you to engineering, technical sciences, and what do you hope to contribute to society through a career in engineering, technical sciences? And my question to the post, to our members is, do we want to keep this question or do we want to change it? And the second question is the essay length sufficient? 250 words, single-spaced lines is about half a page. Is that enough information? Do we want to go to a full page? In researching scholarships and scholarship essays, most of them do about 500 words, so a full page, single-spaced, or 2 pages, double-spaced. College essays are typically 650 words or more in some cases, depending on where you're applying to. So it's also something to think about. Are we getting enough information about why our applicants, our students are interested in the field, and what motivates them to pursue this scholarship? Or is there more that we can get from them by perhaps slightly tweaking the question, changing the question, or changing the essay length, or all of the above?
Give them 2 or 3 different essays. Write about.
They can pick one and then write it.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
All on the same kind of thing. Or
Yeah.
combine it.
Or combine. Okay. Mhm. Okay.
And, that's generally what we do. We take 2 different topics.
Mhm.
And we write a question about topics. And
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess since I'm responsible for the scholarship applications, I will take a crack at doing that, and then we'll share it, get some input. Okay. I'll come prepared with some suggestions, and we can discuss it as hopefully a larger group, and we can then finalize it to post, I believe, in November.
We have to root for we have to root for the board, right?
Okay.
Well, that's what I
See, I don't know the rules yet. I'm new.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
All right. Well,
It's such as-
I really appreciate that input, and with that, I will leave you with one of my favorite quotes that I found as I was doing this research, and I hope you go out and you inspire somebody to join our field. Thank you. Okay, let me stop sharing. I can't, yeah. Everybody can read my emails. It's, sorry. Stop sharing. There we go. Now it's, okay. Ooh.
Cool. All right, thank you, Britta. That was really good, really impressive. I like seeing those videos. And that's really cool that they're gonna implement that at the high school and middle school. Well, I'm actually a product of, it was a simple $500 scholarship for a civil engineering company that I won in high school, and that kind of was my trajectory. Just that $500, was enough to shape my career path. So, which was an exorbitant amount as a kid. So, anyways, this played an important role in my life. Mentors and people who told me what engineering even was. So. This is dear and dear to my heart. So thank you very much, Britta. Thank you for the folks online. Thanks, Nick, for letting me put you on the spot for a second. And so stay tuned. I think the next meeting is
On the 27th of October and it's
Thursday of October. So stay tuned for some more updates for that. I'd like to go around. Does anybody have any comments?
Oh.
Anything they'd like to share?
But I would like a picture
Oh.
Okay,
with the two of you. Right?
All right.
we're just gonna do a quick picture. Thank you so much.
yeah, this is the flag.
Oh,
Yo.
we got you.
Sorry.
In front of the flag?
We go in here.
Okay. Bear with us, everybody online.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
All right, thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you, everybody, for joining, and we'll see you next month.
Cheers.
All
Thank you
right.
very much. Bye bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Christian.
Bye bye.
Hey, most of them back.